Chicago speed is different than Florida speed, just because, like last year at my sectional track meet, which is the meet before state, it was 48 degrees. Someone last night on the hurdle said that we had a wind that we had to deal with down in Texas. It's not Chicago wind where it was 30 miles an hour and there's pellets of rain, snow, and different things coming at you. And then they expect you to run, a 10-8 100-meter dash when you're standing at the line going like this and you're wondering how long do I have to endure this? Or the meet ref that holds you there forever. All right, guys, stand there and you're shivering. So we are kind of fast. So I think if you took your Florida and Texas kids and brought them up to Chicago on a day like that, then I think we see what you really got, because it takes a little bit to run races like that. But anyway, I'm here today to talk about 1080 stuff. I'm going to start down here just to show you how the machine works. Anyone have one? Who has one? Has access to one? Wishes you had one? And then I'm going to go up there, we're going to go over the science, I'll show you a bunch of drills and things like that. And even overspeed stuff you can do without a 1080, because again, not everyone can get one right now, but eventually, probably you can. Amen. So this goes both ways. So this is a Sprint 2. I have the old one. Now they don't even call it the Sprint 1. It's like Sprint old, the Legacy.
Yeah, the legend.
It's literally as big as this lane. And when you pick it up, it's like doing a super crazy sumo deadlift squat, and you're walking around with it like this. They've condensed it down to this.
Wow.
This can do both ways. So you can do super heavy resisted runs, not that that's that great for a lot of things, but you can have a lot of tension. You can do isokinetic exercises. It's basically just resistance that can also pull back extra hard. So if you do a concentric movement with 10 kilograms, you can get that sucker to pull back at 30 kilograms. So you're doing true eccentric. So if you're looking at hamstring work, all right, let's just do a simple hamstring pull through here. And I pull through at 15 kilos or whatever, and I can even set the speed, because we know different bar speeds correlate to different muscle fibers and contractions. But let's say I pull this through at 10, and then I'm going to go to cycle through. That's where your bicep femoris comes into play, and reverse it, and that's where you get hamstring pulls, because you can't control that eccentric portion. Well, now I can train that, because I can pull this sucker back at 14 meters a second with 30 kilograms. Not that that's what you want to do, but that's just how much you can amp that sucker up. So if we're going to take that amped up, bring it back into place, we can also do that with overspeed, which means I can pull this cable out. Does this have 110 meters too?
Yeah, 120.
This has got 120 meters of cable. So that means I can go all the way down there. I think we all know how long 100 meters is. So now I can take this all the way back, and then I can pull you overspeed. When we go inside, I'll show you the science behind it, the research behind it, what happens from a neurologic sense. But for a training standpoint, we're just trying to get you to turn over. We're trying to get you to go faster. We're trying to remove that neurologic function that says to your body, hey, this is enough. I can't go any faster. I'm going to pull it back 2 notches. So now the body says, hey, I can do this. I'm really turning over. I feel comfortable going this speed, because sometimes, not all the time, but there are neurologic governors to how fast you go. It's probably how Bo Jackson got hurt, is he had no neurologic governor to what his body could do, and he can contract so hard that he broke his hip. It's probably what happened. So I'm one of the oldest 1080 users. I've probably pulled more people than anyone in strange places. I've pulled people over high hurdles, which works really well. I just elevate this. And so last night, the hurdle coach talked about the 3 steps in between. We're not trying to run it, we're trying to stutter it. That was a good presentation, by the way. I'm not a hurdle coach. But now I can force that to happen faster, because you've got to turn over quicker, because you have this neurologic and physical barrier in front of you called a hurdle that you've got to get over. So anyway, I've had this a long time. I've never had anyone fall. That's the first fear everyone has, is, am I going to drag someone down the track? Never had that happen. I've had someone get caught in the line, and that was my daughter's fault. I trained in my driveway in my street, And my daughter came driving home, just got her driver's license. She thinks she's cool, drives fast, all that stuff. Got the car caught on the line. I had a girl connected up and she's getting dragged down the street. It's like, oh my God, I'm going to jail. Then my daughter got out and yelled at me because why am I training in the street? So I can set this up to pull you, which we're going to do here in a second. I can change the settings. I can change how fast you go. I can put a limit at the top end speed. So I know if I can set it to 10.5 meters a second, so when you get pulled to that point, you're going to try to keep that cadence. We can also use a release. Now this is the old release. I am the demo person. I've beat up and broken more of these than anyone. So I can pull you up to speed, and then I can have this let go. So now we're going to see how long you can carry that 11 meters a second, or 11.1 meters a second, or 10.8 meters a second. You just let go. You can do the same thing with a long jump. I'm going to pull you hard into the board. I can let go and see if you can carry that energy off the board into the air. So really, I'm just storing energy to get into the jump or into the hurdle or even the sprint. The drawback to doing this is fear of the runner, which is really on you as the coach because you're pulling them too fast. When they feel like they're going too fast, they just suddenly put on the brakes. They heel strike. So with the app that you have, you can actually look to see how fast they're going. You can program it. So, all right, this kid runs 10 meters a second. I want to go about 5% faster, 10% faster than that. I'm going to set the limit at 10.1 meters a second, and that's as fast as they're going to get picked. So now I'm teaching the body that you can go a little bit faster. So you can incrementally raise how fast they go.
Can you go in smaller increments than 5%?
You can go 0.01 meters a second if you would like. And you can feel the difference between 0.1 meter a second and 0.2 meters a second. Me, I just like to crank it up, bring it all the way up and see what you got. And then I tell the kids, hey, this is a roller coaster ride. You like roller coasters? Yeah, I love roller coasters. Great. You're going on a running roller coaster. Just go with it. See if you can beat the clip. That's my coaching cue. Can you beat the clip once it lets go? Because once this pops off, it's going to pop back at 14 meters a second with little load. So it's not like it's going to ricochet and hit someone in the eye or something like that. And I'll show you video when we go inside of people who can catch the carabiner, because we've brought up that speed. In fact, this weight release, I did a webinar back during COVID with this Japanese researcher. Do you remember his name?
No, I can't remember his name.
He was doing research on the releasers, and he was really smart, really good. And he said this is probably the best way to train max velocity running, that this is going to be the game changer. Now the new one that is maybe at UPS or FedEx today, you just set the disc on the ground, and when your athlete runs by the disc, it pops off. So you don't have to sit there and play garage door opener like your grandpa with the remote control at the TV and see if you hope to hit it. Go! So again, I'm going to hit a button. It's going to open. It's a garage door opener.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. It did. Yes, it did.
I just got back from China, and a lot of the sprints coaches there were using this edition.
And there's a variable resistance on it as well, that you can start off nice and easy and you can build up the speed, or you can get a good pull out and do an assisted start, which I'll talk about inside, and then it lets go when you hit certain speeds. So let's say you've got someone who's got a really low turnover out of the blocks, which, you know, looking at data from 1080 from all over the world, that's really a dividing line, a barrier to hit next levels is your frequency when you come out of the blocks. That way we can get you out at a certain speed where your legs have to meet that or you fall, and your body knows I don't want to fall, so I'm going to just make them go faster. So we're just tricking the brain neurologically into making your legs go faster. And then I can let it cut off at 6 meters a second or 7 meters a second or wherever it stops. So then he's not going to have that continued push. Now he said there's a technical aspect and I have to think about it. So my high school, we have 2. We actually have 3 now. We're buying used ones. We do have a Sprint 2. I bring mine from home. I own one, and then we bought a used one through 1080 when someone exchanged their old one for a new one. So we race. So if I know I've got to beat this guy next to me and I've got to hit certain times, I'm not thinking technically anymore. I'm just letting it happen. So I'm not thinking about putting on the brakes because I'm trying to beat the guy next to me. So just by putting a race attitude in with kids who love to race, it's going to be less barriers to get to where you want to go.